How do you create distinct but cohesive work that is inspired by your earlier works? And what's the point in your works being singular yet related? I'm Beverly Claridge. Welcome to my studio. Also today, I debut my very first large canvas abstracts, which are inspired by the mountain-like motifs found in my earlier work, Scamper and Scoot, and Revel and Rejoice from my Moving On collection. By reimagining previous works as new works, I can jump full throttle into making abstracts. I simply don't waste time by searching for inspiration. And it also helps me foster a common, cohesive language throughout my body of work. One way to establish an association between works is to repeat themes, motifs, and processes in new ways. For instance, because I began my earlier Moving On series with lemon yellow, I likewise apply the same color to the new works, albeit in a more textural fashion. This is followed up with cooler primary colors layered rather thinly using dynamic brush strokes. By reinforcing the sense of horizon established in the earlier works, I likewise add and remove tape through the early stages of these large pieces. A second way to make related but distinct work is to change up the medium. What a relief to return to oil paint for these big canvases. Oil paint is a medium with which I'm very familiar. Returning to it was rather comforting after months of struggling with the unfamiliar oil-based printing ink and monoprinting with ink tints. However, all that striving with unknown materials and processes taught me a lot. So now I must be careful to not end up with simply a bigger version of the earlier work. Accordingly, I must now push boundaries with oil paint in order to pursue that which is still uncomfortable. For this reason, I highly recommend switching to an unfamiliar medium or technique to help you reimagine a new work. I recommend reading on beverlyclaridge.com The Challenge of Printing with Oil-Based Ink to learn about my previous encounter with the unfamiliar. The link is in the description. A third approach to make works inspired by older ones is to change the orientation. I changed from the landscape position of the smaller works to a portrait layout for the large canvases. Doing this compels subtle design changes, thereby making new problems to resolve. Early on, I discovered the importance of problem solving in creativity. You can find out more about that by reading Discover 3 Important Creative Truths in the Art Studio on my website by clicking in the link in the description. The fourth way to derive new artwork from an earlier one is to reinterpret patterns, shapes, and designs. Reinterpreting the movement of the Moving On works meant I could express patterns and shapes in a new way. This also helped maintain a mutual connection. For example, in the first canvas, with the working title of WSXL1, earth tone blocks reinforced shapes and structures found in Scamper and Scoot, but in a subtle way. Next, earth tones on WSXL2 give even more movement, rhythm, and linear structure. Stripes build form and depth. I enjoy the interaction between the colored lines and the layers beneath. This all serves to guide the eye back into the composition and adds direction. The middle horizon, common to both earlier works, is reinterpreted in both of the new. In the second canvas, I add warm, earthy yellow lines across the middle. Then I extend the color further down on the right side to prepare for a new treatment. At a certain point, the derived work must stand on its own. Throughout painting the two canvases, I've continued to refer to the older works, searching for motifs and ideas to expand upon. However, at this point, both works assume their own destiny, and I no longer need to get clues from Scamper and Scoot or Revel and Rejoice. Now, I'm fully committed to the weave pattern, using it as a device to give direction around both works. I now add Rahab's thread, which alludes to connectivity and hope, onto the second canvas. The red cord, present in two of my narrative series, Ephemeral Perception and Out of Hand, now wraps around mountain shapes, giving them volume and an element in common with my exhibition works. I like the contrast and the slight solemnity the undulating strokes add to this now playful work. One significant lesson I've learned is that being uncomfortable, perhaps even seeking creative discomfort, is vital. If I sense that I'm getting a little bit too comfortable with the piece, then I force myself to make a go bold or go home mark, which I've done several times in my overall body of work during these past couple of years of making abstracts. These marks have the capacity to either elevate the work or totally ruin it, because there are problems I must solve. Cohesion and continuity in an overall body of works is good. You want your collection of works to have a common language and to relate to each other in a style identifiable as yours. It allows your collectors to enjoy the development of your overall body of work. Returning after my summer break, I revisited Go Tell It on the Mountain and Mountain Moving Time with fresh eyes. I only added a more robust red to Rahab's thread on Mountain Moving Time to complete that work. Go Tell It on the Mountain and Mountain Moving Time now join my Moving On collection. Did I achieve what I was hoping to? Yes, I did. For me, these are groundbreaking works. I want them to feel somewhat uncomfortable, which they certainly do, but yet at the same time inspiring. Now they simply need to be restretched after the pounding they took, and then I'll let them dry and put varnish on them and sign them. Then they're ready to go. Join my email list to be amongst the first to know when they drop on my store. Those on my email list get special email list only prices when they debut. Please like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified the next time I upload a video. And I'd love any comments or questions. Thanks for joining me, and now I'd be really chuffed if you'd watch this.